This fictional mindbender. Maul's Shadow Lord didn't just revive Darth Maul, it introduced what might become the next generational Star Wars character, Devon. Ahsoka Tano has long been regarded as the holder of that title since her appearance in Star Wars The Clone Wars. But Devon shouldn't be the new Ahsoka. She should be Ahsoka's opposite. For over a decade, Ahsoka Tano has been the emotional anchor for younger fans. Not because she was perfect or a so-called Mary Sue, because she wasn't. She was not an all-powerful, super cool character. She was flawed, impulsive, overconfident, had to learn on the fly or died during the Clone War. And sometimes those mistakes got other people killed. And we watched her wrestle with that, right up to the point where she leaves the Jedi Order. We watched her grow. We watched her learn. We watched her survive the Clone Wars alongside Anakin, Rex, Obi-Wan, and so on, and the Jedi that she admired. She became a symbol of resilience, a character who aged as her audience aged. But that created a problem for Disney. Ahsoka now is an adult. Her fan base is older. And the quote-unquote young audience POV character role is now empty. Who's going to be the eyes and ears of that audience? And more importantly, who will be that person during the time of the dark times of the Empire? Enter Devon. Devon seems to check every box that Ahsoka once did. A tense relationship with her master, a front row seat to a master with a predetermined destiny, a young, force-sensitive growing up in the worst possible era, an impulsive and emotional, but fundamentally good at heart. These parallels are for certain not accidental, yet these don't guarantee a representative. Disney has tried to force the next big character before. Grogu, Rey, the cast of The Acolyte, and audiences rejected that attempt because it felt engineered. Viewer IQ has skyrocketed over the last 20 years. People can smell corporate bullshit from a mile away. Devon cannot simply be Ahsoka 2.0. She needs to be similar, but more so also stand out. The best way to become iconic is simple. Mirror Ahsoka's journey, but in the opposite direction. Ahsoka grew from a naive padawan to a wise force user, from reckless to disciplined, from padawan to leader. Even when her master fell, she rose, from inexperienced warrior to master swordsman, and Devon should be the inverse of this. She should start good, and has, and then fall, to embody the ancient saying that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Instead of becoming a better person, she becomes worse, and it's already started. Not because she's evil, but because she's hurt, because she's angry, because she's being trained by a man who was raised Sith, and shaped by that trauma and fueled by that vengeance despite no longer technically being Sith. Devon must become the anti-Ahsoka. And the Maul-Devon dynamic must be the opposite of Anakin and Ahsoka's. Ahsoka and Anakin had a warmth to them, trust, a genuine bond, a brother-sister bond that was very much palpable. The relationship with Devon and Maul cannot be this. Devon and Maul should have an undertone of strictness, of tension, pushing Devon's morality to their breaking point until they do break, because she wants to kill Darth Vader so bad, as well as strike back at the Empire. It should have the fear and manipulation that come with being raised as a Sith, and not because Maul hates her, but because this is the only way that he knows how to teach. Again, he was raised as a Sith. He was trained through pain, shaped by cruelty. Even if he's no longer that, he cannot escape the methods that made him. And Maul's rebuilding of a syndicate can serve as a mirror reflection of the Clone Wars and how that shaped Ahsoka. Devon can become the hitman, the enforcer, the blade that Maul sends in the dark when he wants something done or someone eliminated. And this is where the parallels between Devon and her Legends inspiration, Darth Talon, who served Darth Krayt in this exact same way, can come together. Devon's motivation must be personal and dangerous. Ahsoka became an inspirational tale to fans of how to overcome life obstacles no matter the difficulty. Devon must become a cautionary tale of what happens when someone cannot overcome those obstacles but instead becomes corrupted by them, corrupted by life. When anger becomes identity, when pain becomes purpose, when the desire for justice mutates into the hunger for vengeance. Who is recognizable and relatable, but also original, because Ahsoka grew in the light. Devon should descend into the dark. And again, not because she's evil, but because she's wounded. And Maul is the worst possible mentor for someone who's in that state. This isn't the 00s or even the 2010s anymore. As Andor proved, modern audiences don't want perfect heroes. They want complexity. They want characters who reflect the life and the world that they live in that's messy, conflicted, and morally gray, while occasionally still showing some sense of morality at the same time. Devon can be that person. Devon can be the character who shows what happens when the galaxy crushes someone who could have been great. Devon can be the character who reveals the cost of the Empire's tyranny on the young. And Devon can be the character who forces Maul to confront the monster that he was trained to be and what provokes him to somewhat change by Star Wars Rebels, when he attempts to do the same thing with Ezra Bridger. And Devon can also be the character who shows that not everyone's stories ends in redemption. Some just end in corruption. This is Fictional Mindbender. Have a good day.